I had the opportunity to speak to the MMC for Finance for the City of Johannesburg about the new budget. Up next is a 5-minute version of that interview, with the full version available on our City Brief channel, only on Joburgtoday.
Well, the key focus areas is continuation of service delivery across the city, infrastructure being the key driver of the things that we will be looking at in the new budget. A lot of money, about 7.5 billion being invested in capital projects to make sure that we expand our infrastructure, we do repairs and maintenance to the infrastructure, but also roll out new infrastructure across the city.
Now, of these focus areas, what have you prioritized and why?
Well, we're spending 1.1 billion in upgrade of stormwater and sewer infrastructure in two particular regions of the city. Region A, which covers areas like Ivory Park, Ebony Park, Maibuye. Region G, which covers areas like Orange Farm, Lakeside, and Kapok and Drizik. So we have decided that in the midst of COVID, how do you then respond to poverty in those particular areas? If you roll out infrastructure like the tarring of roads in those areas, upgrade of sewer and stormwater infrastructure, including housing developments in those areas, we think we should be able to support a lot of SMMEs, but also create a lot of jobs in those particular two regions of our city.
Now, what have been the challenges in formulating this budget?
Well, key among the challenges is the shrinking budget that we have. The grants and subsidies from national and provincial government have not been growing but shrinking. The current economic conditions in the country are not so favorable. We've got to do more with less. The COVID pandemic itself has resulted in us not being able to collect the necessary revenues that we would have wanted to collect. So we had to take all those into account when we put the budget to say, how do we then prioritize and spend the money in the areas that will make sure that the poor and the vulnerable benefit, but we still maintain the infrastructure in affluent areas as well.
Now, how is this likely going to impact service delivery, considering some of the challenges that the city is facing in collecting revenue?
Well, with the collection of the revenue in the month of August, we have seen a positive outcome. We billed 3.9 billion that we intended to collect. Of that 3.9 billion, we were able to collect 3.8 billion, which is quite a dramatic improvement if you look at the previous months since April up to July. So we have had a positive response from the ratepayers, but what we are also looking at is to say, how do we then, make sure that we deliver services, whilst, there are particular areas like JRA. JRA has not been classified as a essential service during level 5 and level 4 and level 3 of the lockdown. So that impacts service delivery. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of traffic lights not working, potholes not being patched. So there is an impact on the side of the lockdown to say what is it that we're able to do and not able to do. We're quite happy that in the construction sector is back to work. So the construction of houses and clinics and all those types of things will now continue.
Now, in terms of measures put in place, what are they to ensure that you stick to the budget and the impact that is likely to have to the citizens of Joburg?
When you look at the budget speech, this mini budget speech that we did, the last line, in fact, we said to the city manager, we are giving you 68.1 billion, make sure that it is spent, but it is also spent on the things that are pronounced in the budget. Because if you don't spend the money, then you impact service delivery. If we give you money to build 3,500 housing units and you don't do that, it impacts negatively on the people that are in the housing waiting list. We've got the emergency procurement, compliance committee that has been put in place to make sure that whatever procurement goes through, it's done according to the laws and rules that govern supply chain processes.